Hey people, I welcome you back to Caroline's Online Academy. This is another video in which we're solving the previous year board examination question problems from the chapter accounting for share capital. And in the upcoming videos, like 4 or 5 videos, I'm going to be solving questions that require you to prepare the extract of the balance sheet and the schedule for share capital according to Companies Act 2013. This is almost like a compulsory question in every question paper, my dear children. The format of the share capital schedule is like compulsory. It is there in every question paper that is there. You can take any random question paper and you will see this question. You can actually divide this question into 4 types. Actually, it is dividing this question itself is like you know minutely classifying. Okay, because you don't have to classify it itself. You can do it without classifying. You can remember everything that you have to remember from this particular topic. But in case you want to classify, you can classify these questions into 4 types. One, the questions in which all the shares have been fully called up and there are some calls in arrears. And how would you prepare the share capital schedule? Questions in which there is additional issue. There is already some share capital issued already. On top of that, additional issue of shares have happened. Questions in which there had been calls in arrears and those shares which had calls in arrears had been forfeited, and questions in which the shares had not been fully called up itself. Now, in order to understand these categories, first we need to understand what fully called up means. It's very, very simple, my dear children. Fully called up means assume there is a 100 rupee share capital. Share. The face value of the share is 100 rupees. If 80 rupees had been called up, it is not fully called up. If 100 rupees had been called up, it is fully called up. Okay. Now this 80 out of this 80 rupees, 80 rupees has been paid up. So is this fully paid up? Because 80 rupees was called up and 80 rupees has been paid up. Is it fully paid up? No, it is still not, will not be called fully paid up. It is not fully paid up. Okay, 100 rupees, out of the 100 rupees shares in which 100 rupees have been called up, certain shares have 80 rupees paid up and certain shares have 100 rupees paid up. Now, which of these shares are fully paid up? Only these shares will be considered as fully paid up. So when you say shares are fully paid up, you actually mean those shares which have been fully called up as well as fully paid up. A share which has been partially called up, like only 80 rupees has been called up in a particular share, will not be considered as fully paid up at all, even if the entire 80 rupees has been paid up, because if the face value of the share is 100 rupees, it has not yet been fully called up, so it can never become fully paid up. Now, you may not understand as to why I'm telling you all this. You will understand as we solve the problem. So first, we're going to be solving a question from the compartment examination of the year 2023. This is a type of question in which we have fully called up shares in which there have been some calls in arrears, and we have to directly prepare the extract of the balance sheet and the schedule for share capital. Okay, let's go ahead and read the question. Limited is registered with an authorized capital of rupees 10 crores, which was divided into 1 crore equity shares of rupees 10 each. The company invited application for issuing 10 lakh equity shares. The amount per share was payable as follows. On application, rupees 3, on allotment, rupees 4, on first and final call, rupees 3. The issue was fully subscribed. All calls were made and were duly received except the first and final call on 1,000 shares. So someone holding the 1,000 shares did not pay the first and final call, which is calls in arrears. Present the share capital in the balance sheet of the company as per the provisions of the Schedule B, Part 1 of the Companies Act 2013, and also prepare notes to accounts. So let's go ahead and solve this problem, my dear children. The first thing to do would be to write in whose books you are preparing this schedule. In the books of Limited. In the books of Limited, you have particulars, note number, current year numbers, and previous year numbers. In most of these questions, they don't give previous year numbers. I'm just writing it for the sake of the format. Understood? So we have put them all, and then we prepare the share capital balance sheet extract. Okay. So this is basically the balance sheet extract. So we're going to be writing balance sheet of MM Limited as at March 31st dash. The year has not been given. Understood or not? So we just write dash. Okay. Now let's go ahead and prepare it. In the balance sheet, the first thing would be equity and liabilities. Under equity and liabilities, you have shareholders funds, and under that you have share capital. Okay. So this is the face of the balance sheet, my dear children. Now you also have to write extract here because you're not preparing the full balance sheet. You're only preparing the extract of the balance sheet. The extract of the balance sheet, which only shows you the the extract of the balance sheet, which only shows you the share capital portion. Understood or not, my dear children? Let's prepare that fast, real quick. Okay. I've written current year and previous year here. If they're given the year on which these transactions are happening, we're supposed to write the year in which the transactions happen. Understood or not, my dear children? So I've done this. It's not very complicated, my dear children. You can do it easily. Okay. And I'm not going to fill any numbers here. I'll be filling the numbers once I'm done with the notes to accounts. Notes to accounts. The schedule that I'm going to prepare for is for share capital. I'm going to give it note number 1, share capital. And I'll have a particulars column in the note number. And I'll have 2 amount columns. You'll understand why we have 2 amount columns as I solve the problem. Understood or not, my dear children? Okay, good. Yeah. Now, in particulars, what all will I have? The first thing that I'll have is authorized capital. Now, what is my authorized capital according to the question, my dear children? Very simple, my dear children. Limited is registered with an authorized capital of 10 crores. They've directly given the amount in the question. 1 crore equity shares of rupees 100 each. So what I'll write here is 1 crore equity shares of rupees 100 each. Understood? And I'll write the total amount here. The total amount happens to be 10 crores. Am I right or not, my dear children? I'll write 10 crores. 1 crore into 10 is 10 crores. Understood or not, my dear children? Make it slightly bigger. Yeah, good. 10 crores. After writing this, I will underline this. Why am I underlining this, my dear children? I'm double underlining this. Why am I double underlining this? I'm double underlining this because this will not be added to anything else further. Understood or not? In the notes to accounts. You'll understand once I finish it. The next thing is I'll write the issued capital. The company issued how many shares, my dear children? The company issued 10 lakh equity shares. Am I right? The company invited applications for issuing 10 lakh equity shares. So I'll write 10 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each actually. They are 10 each. I made an error here. 10 each. 10 lakh equity shares of 10 each, and that will be 1 crore, my dear children. Understood or not? Again, I'll double underline this because I will not be adding this to anything else in the schedule as we move further. All right. Now, what should I write next? The next thing that I have got to write is subscribed and fully paid up and subscribed but not fully paid up. I have to list the subscribed capital next. Subscribed capital. Now, do I have subscribed and fully paid up capital? The first step to determine if I have fully paid up capital is if I have fully called up the shares. The question says that all calls were made, which means what? I have fully called up all the shares. Am I right or not, my dear children? So if I fully called up all the shares, there is a possibility for me to have fully paid up shares. On top of that, the question also says that someone did not pay the final call on shares. So there is also subscribed but not fully paid up. The first is subscribed and fully paid up. Now, out of the 10 lakh shares that had been issued, all the 10 lakhs were subscribed, but 1000 shares, on 1000 shares, there was call scenarios. On how many shares did we actually have full, on how many shares were the shares are, why? Okay, fine, yeah. So, sometimes it happens, my dear children. No, please excuse me. Okay. So, on how many shares were the amount fully paid up also, apart from being fully called up? Now, 10 lakh shares were there. Out of that, on 1000 shares, there is calls in arrears. So on the remaining shares, 99,000, I'm sorry, 9,99,000 shares, the amount has been fully paid up also. So I'll write that here. 9,99,000 shares of rupees 10 each have been fully paid up also. That will be what? 99,90,000. Apart from that, I have some subscribed but not fully paid up. The 1,000 rupee shareholder who's become a headache for me. The joker, he couldn't pay in time. Anyway, let's go ahead and account for it. Yeah, so on 1,000 shares, first and final call has not been paid up. So how much was first and final call, my dear children? 3 rupees per share. So on 1,000 shares, 3 rupees have not been paid up. Let's see how to show this here. Understood or not, my dear children? I'll write 1,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each and write the called up value here. So 1,000 into 10, 10,000, and I'll write less calls in arrears. 1,000 into 3 rupees is a calls in arrears. Am I right or not, my dear children? And so 7,000 is the amount of subscribed and not fully paid up shares. Understood or not, my dear children? So now I'll do the total of the share capital schedule. That's it. I'm done with the share capital. With respect to this question, I'll do the total of the share capital schedule. And as you can see, the total, my dear children, is 99,90,000 plus 7,000, 99,97,000. I will not add these things. To signify the fact that I will not add these things, I actually double, underline, and close them. These are just disclosures that are supposed to be made. I need to disclose in the share capital schedule the authorized capital, the issued capital, and everything. And therefore, I'm just disclosing them there. I will not add them. What is relevant for me is only the amount received on the subscribed capital, and that I show like this. Understood or not, my dear children? I'll take this 99,97,000 and write it on the face value, face of the balance sheet in the under the column current year on the balance sheet against share capital. And with this, I've got myself 4 marks, my dear children. It's as simple as that. You take information from the question and you just prepare this balance sheet and schedule, and you're done. That's it. With this, we've come to the end of this video, my dear children. I'll meet you with another video with another problem, the second type of problem in the same under the same topic. Until then, I will see you guys. You people take care, have fun, and goodbye.